Welcome to Drum Corps Central, a podcast. I am a 13-year-old drum corps superfan who loves all forms of the marching arts. Thanks for watching the podcast today. There will be an almost daily episode of this podcast recapping the previous night's drum corps scores and looking ahead. Today is Saturday, July 14th, 2018, one day before the first regional of the 2018 Drum Corps International Summer Tour. But more importantly, last night, 2 shows, tonight, 6 shows over DCI and DCA. I'll get to recapping last night's shows and to look ahead to tonight's 6 shows all during today's podcast. So let's get started. So, first of 2 shows last night, Casper, Wyoming, Drums Along the Rockies. I don't want to say this was a weak show, but not a strong show. No heavy hitters here, no Vanguard, no Blue Knights, no Academy. Those corps missing out of these Pacific Northwest corps that have been touring together. Trooper 73-9 last night, Pacific Crest 68-9. Oregon Crusaders come third with a 66-8, and Seattle Cascades fourth with a 62.6. I do say that there were 2 shows last night. There was actually a third show in Dubuque, Iowa, but it was canceled due to storms in the area. Now let's take a look at the scoring recap for Drums Along the Rockies last evening. So, a partial panel here, no color guard judge, no brass judge, and no percussion judge. Troopers win everything you see with Oregon Crusaders and Pacific Crest. Pacific Crest is really pulling away except for some threes in content and a different little thing in visual analysis. So just a few things where Pacific Crest is just struggling a little bit and Oregon Crusaders is good. But I think right now Oregon Crusaders have a little bit of work to do if they are to catch Pacific Crest because they're pulling away. Last show last night, Millbrook, Alabama, Drums Across the River region. It's been crazy down with these, really the 3 corps, Guardians, Louisiana Stars, Southwind. Last night, Guardians get first with a 59.85, second, Louisiana Stars a 59.55, and third was Southwind with a 58.45. Heatwave also comes to the show with a 53.7, 3 points. About 3 points ahead where they were in their last show. So let's take a look at the scoring recap for Drums Across the River region. So to break down Guardians and Louisiana Stars, and really Southwind. General effect, Louisiana Stars strong point 24 even to a 23.7 for the Guardians. Really not good for Southwind. They're 9/10 behind the Louisiana Stars. Then you go over to visual. It's 1, 2, 3 in proficiency and analysis. Then you go over to color guard. Louisiana Stars win that with an 11.7 to the Guardians 11.4 and Southwind's 11.2. Overall visual goes 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you go down to music. Southwind first, Guardians second, Louisiana Stars third. Louisiana Stars first, Guardians second, Southwind third in music analysis and in music percussion. Guardians first, Southwind second, Louisiana Stars third. The reason the Guardians are winning this, you see not a ton of ones here. Visual, they're strong, but kind of equal in music. The reason they're winning is because everybody's so close and they're just consistent. Southwind, they're not winning because they're not consistent across the board. They're really good in music, but they're not in the other captions. And Louisiana Stars, they've got really strong points and they've got really weak points. Let's take a look at the DCI World Class Leaderboard for July 14th, 2018. So, of course, only that one show last night where those 4 corps from Casper, that show, how they performed. None of them finalists, at least at this point. You see this big gap right here. We saw Troopers and Pacific Crest last night, so that's pretty accurate. Really big gap, about 5 points, equal 5 points between Troopers and Pacific Crest. So really between 17th and 18th is really where we'll slot in Vanguard Cadets and Blue Devils B and any other open class corps. I think Genesis might even stick their neck up there. So this is what it looks like right now. Today, pretty big day of action, but of course tomorrow, St. Louis, the St. Louis Regional, the first really big show of the tour. A few corps missing from that, I think. Well, anybody that's in Denver is not in St. Louis, so no Vanguard, no Blue Knights, etc. So we don't get to see them mixed in, but I think everybody else is there. So that's your world-class leaderboard for this morning. Meanwhile, over on the open class side of things, you see here, left side open class leaderboard, excellent corps that will not be at championships. Right sides, including all corps, regardless if they go to championships or not. You see Colombians first corps to wrap up their tour. Where Guardians is now fourth, Louisiana Stars, Southwind, and Heatwave. You can see where they are. I think if I'm just looking over at the finalists or the championships one, a few things just to note. Vanguard Cadets, Blue Devils B, they return to action today. Spartans still have another week off, and they've got a really good score to hold them until then. Guardians, Louisiana Stars, Southwind, we see them again today. Legends tomorrow, Gold tonight. River City, Gold, how close are they to Vanguard Cadets and Blue Devils B? That's something to watch. River City Rhythm, we don't see them until the end of July. July 27th in Gerardo, Missouri. So their score is going to go down a lot, but then it'll go way up when they perform again. 7th Regiment, not until next Saturday. Heatwave tonight. Golden Empire returns to action tonight, so they've gone down because of not having any shows. And those 4 corps under the bubble, Cadets is going to be there. I think the Raiders are going to be right there on the bubble. Impulse, really strong score that they've been holding on to. They return to action tonight in El Cajun, and Shadow tomorrow night in St. Louis. So let's take a look at tonight's shows for Saturday, July 14th, 2018. 6 of them tonight. First up, Huron, Georgia, the Atlanta Brass Classic. I think the only, if not the only, one of the only, DCA and DCI mixed shows this year, where we actually have a DCA competition, not a DCA all-age class, a DCA whatever class show being judged at the same show where there is a DCI show. It happens all the time. Not rare. It doesn't happen every weekend. So 3 DCA corps, 2 DCA A-class corps. They start off their DCA seasons tonight. Southern Knights and Carolina Gold, and the open class corps of Atlanta CV. Then we get those 4 DCI open class corps, Heatwave, Southwind, Guardians, Louisiana Stars. Of course, we'll be watching them. And we'll be watching how strong Atlanta CV can be after a great season last year. And Southern Knights and Carolina Gold, where are they coming into this season? Now, just a few notes for this one. Hiram High School Stadium in Hiram, Georgia. One of 2 drum corps shows that will be held here in Hiram. There is a second show in August. It's a DCA show. So if you're in the area, you get 2 DCA shows this year in Hiram. Well, 2 drum corps shows, regardless, in that Georgia area. No weather report on here. I didn't really have time for that today, but there is a possibility of a thunderstorm or 2 in Hiram. So hopefully that will hold off. Second show tonight, Denver, Colorado, Drums Along the Rockies. You can watch this one live on Flow Marching. The battalion return to action tonight, and then you get all those world-class corps that have been together. Really, their penultimate tour. It wraps up here of those corps that have been touring together. They wrap up that tonight. Of course, we'll be watching Pacific Crest and Oregon Crusaders. See how close Seattle Cascades can get to Oregon Crusaders, all those things. Vanguard, 87, 88, where are they? I think that today really is the last day of everybody being divided. These Denver cores and the cores in Kentucky. No, tomorrow they all meet in St. Louis, and then these guys mix in Kansas and everything next week. So really, today is the last day of the beginning, I guess, the first half of DCI's summer tour. The rest of the summer is all mixed in when we get accurate reads on how close everything about where cores are going to place as we go down the road this summer. Drums along the Rockies, Sports Authority Field in Denver, Colorado, the home of the Denver Broncos NFL team. Weather looks okay for this one, just a brief check I just did before. Next show tonight, Alexandria, Kentucky, DCI, Northern Kentucky. Two South Sport teams here, Appalachian Gold and the Diplomats. Diplomats coming all the way from up in Ontario, Canada. Then again, all age class scores, Cincinnati Tradition. Then 5 world class scores. These are those scores that have been down in Georgia and Florida, and they were up in New Jersey. They wrapped that up today. No Boston here and no Cadets. I think those are the 2 notable ones that are missing. They're the only 2 that are missing, actually. So and where the Bluecoats going to be, Crown, where are they going to be? Bluecoats ahead their first head-to-head meeting with the Blue Devils tomorrow. That could be a big event, but we'll talk way more about that on tomorrow's show. DCI Northern Kentucky, Campbell County High School in Alexandria, Kentucky. Weather for this one looks okay. Looks like a good night for some drum corps down in Kentucky. Next up, DeKalb, Illinois, Tour of Champions, Northern Illinois. I remember when Tour of Champions used to be like a big event. They used to be huge shows. You would get like all the finalists. This show used to be like the first time when we'd see Bluecoats and Blue Devils and Vanguard and Crown and everybody all meet up. Now we get a first half. I believe there are no DCI champions in that, at least world champions. They're Division 2, Division 3, open class, whatever are there, but never any world champions. Pioneer, Colts, Crossman, Blue Stars, but they all have really good shows this year. We'll have to see how they can do tonight. Then you get the champions half, Madison, Cavaliers, Blue Devils, Phantom, all of them. So that, what to look forward to here, Phantom, Blue Stars, Crossman, I think is what the big thing is to look forward to, and Colts versus Madison. Tour of Champions, Northern Illinois at Husky Stadium at Northern Illinois University in DeKalb, Illinois. Weather for this one, it's raining, I believe, right now as I do this podcast is what I just checked on the weather. But hopefully it will be good weather by the time of the show. Same thing down in Huron where we have that chance of storms as well. Finally, the last DCI show, one more DCA show to get to, but last DCI show tonight, Cajun, California, the Gold Showcase, Gold's home show. All open class show here. We get all these scores. Because remember, first weekend of the tour, we got Blue Devils B, Vanguard Cadets, and Blue Devils C, and then those other corps, Vessel, Watchman, Incognito, all them joined in. So they joined in down in Southern California, I believe it was. So now we get to see them all together tonight. How close can Gold be to Blue Devils B and Vanguard Cadets? In my opinion, this is the biggest show of tonight because it has the most implications in open class. And the stuff in world class tonight is not very strong competition. It's really that you got Vanguard and you got Bluecoats and Blue Devils, but nobody's really close to them in those shows that they're at. At this show, you get Blue Devils B, Vanguard Cadets, where are they? You get Golden Empire going off at it, or going at it again. Impulse, can they go and lay down a really good score? Incognito, Watchman, Vessel, they might wrap up their tours this weekend. I'll have to check on that one, but they all have this show tonight. Really, those first four I think will be really close. So who knows how this one will turn out, but we'll be talking about it tomorrow, I'm sure. For the Gold Showcase, Valhalla High School Stadium in El Cajon, California. Weather looks good for this one. Hot, but good. And lastly tonight, Clifton, New Jersey, the Drum Corps Grand Prix DCA show. One A-class corps, the Skyliners, and a bunch of open-class corps, Hurricanes, Sunrisers, Bushwhackers, Fusion Corps, Buccaneers, Cadets 2, and Caballeros. Our first head-to-head meeting, I believe, between the Buccaneers and Caballeros. It'll be interesting to see how they do tonight's head-to-head, and throwing Cadets 2 into that mix, and you got Fusion right there. Who knows how this one will turn out. Just a few notes for this one. Clifton High School Stadium, Clifton, New Jersey, where the DCI show was on July 5th. So now, just a few things before I'm done here today. Make sure to check out drumcorpscentral.weebly.com for all your latest updates from the DCI and DCA summer tours. Scores, schedules, leaderboards, and more can all be found on drumcorpscentral.weebly.com. Make sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DrumCorpGeek and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Drum Corps Central. I'll be back tomorrow with another episode of Drum Corps Central, a podcast. Taking a look back at these 6 shows today, it'll probably be a long one, and a look ahead at the first regional of the 2018 DCI Summer Tour tomorrow, plus a look, I believe there's an open class show in California tomorrow, so a lot to get to tomorrow, even more than today. Thank you for watching today. Good luck to every single corps competing tonight in DCI and DCA. Have a great rest of your day, everyone.